Alrighty, welcome to another episode of Design Streaming Sessions. I'm your host, Farama Henry. I was just taking the volume a little bit there. Welcome to another session of our live design streaming sessions. As I've mentioned, I'm host Farama Henry, and this is live design streaming sessions from Do Better UX. Now, if you're watching this, you're probably looking to get into UX design. Sorry, this music is like absolutely crazy. Let me try and change. Now, if you're watching this, you're probably getting into UX design or product design, looking into starting some sort of that thing. You're actually in the right place. They will be discussing the different things of why you shouldn't be. Some of the to end up in a career in you. We will cover 5 main things, which I feel that are some of the why people buzzword that is out there that they jump on the bandwagon and get into, because I think you will end up actually burning to burn, end up messing probably prospects start all again, figure out, which is something that I would advise you to or just looking for a career change. I hope that this video will help you make what are some of the things you need to think about, what are some of the things that getting into UX, and these are some of my compelling why you shouldn't do it if you're coming from certain background things. But before we jump right in, I'd like to invite you to our website, dobetterux.com. There you will find other, such as our podcast, our blogs that we are trying to make in the, my personal website, to training company, moving around, but you head out to dobetterux.com. That is where all the other different content that we do, other our private groups that we have on the, and also be able with other things do as well at do.com. So please do consider checking it out, and if this feels like it's content that you are interested in and you would like to get notified every time we go live with different topics. Like tomorrow I was just on the Apple event right now. I had to stop it so that I can start with my stream, but we will be definitely having a UX coverage of that event tomorrow. So if that is something that sounds like you might be interested in, please do subscribe into our channel, and also hit that notification bell so that you get notified when we upload on the moving on swiftly into point number 1 of why I get into UX, or if this is one of the reasons you just want to get UX. And if you're just getting into, heard that salaries are pretty good, heard that it's paying that jobs, or graphic design, web design jobs, then don't do it for the money, because I think there are other concepts that we will touch throughout this that matter when you are considering getting into. I think and think there's passion component that passionate and empathize with product that so if you're just doing it for the money, probably the wrong reason. Anything in the world of I think coach or people and building products. I mean, if you don't follow, ask you what is your product, right? Why? And you can question from product is don't do it. I think there are other very different ways you can lucrative or whatever career you are currently in right now that you could double in sufficient by optimize how much work you do working times or overwork, not getting paid so that is the first reason why you should not become going to be doing it for the money, because it requires a lot of attention, or it will require you bring your A game, because trust me, because of the going into people getting into or competition in for the money, you're probably going to get frustrated with the learning curve, trying to figure out what UX really, trying to figure out how can you high quality value people that are served. That is number one of the main reason why you should be getting into probably salary grade even on an entry level higher than other jobs and the design other roles on the market that people with business and or or think or design thinking could get into. So don't do it for the money, do it for the passion. Moving on to second point of today, why you should jump in. It's to be relevant. Most of the people that I see on LinkedIn with their profiles, which they're actually just web designers or and they are trying to brand themselves as UI design or UX design to become more relevant. Again, back to point number one, higher jobs, or just to stay relevant so that they just don't sound like, oh, I'm a ordinary whatever it is. I think that's the wrong thing. I think there is a lot of value in all the value in graphic. People undervalue graphic design so much that there is there that can help branding, that can, assets for people in UX other places. So if you're just doing it to be and coming from a graphic design or from a web design and you're starting to call yourself UX UI design, then you will come down the line work to do with somebody what they're from you, and you actually the UX that you caught up in probably do certain workshop or do that UX designers are expected to do, all of that, all of those other things. So unless if you're ready to really get into it, learn proper UX design, and not just throw the term out there, or position yourself as a UX designer, actually one, I wouldn't recommend do it to be relevant and just smack the title of a UX designer there, because especially in South Africa, I think the market is small, and that makes it a very small space for people to talk about you and curate what you do. So be careful on how you present yourself and especially with if you're really looking for if you're super strong in graphic design, or if you're super strong in illustration, or user interface, go fully in with your strengths. Learn UX design. Want to get into thing you shouldn't get it. What I'm saying is that don't do it and just make start looking for UX design jobs. Probably number one, to get better paying jobs, and number two is sound like or getting old, or just being a web designer, a user interface, whatever it is. Be running away from thinking that throwing the title of UX design on your LinkedIn profile or on your resume look and sound more. That is my point number two. So point number one, if you go far, was that don't do it just for the money. Point number two, do it just for market, whatever it is. All right, moving on to point number three, right? So if you think like point number two and point number three really talk to each other pretty closely. Now, if you think that this is just web design and UI work, you're in for it, right? There's definitely more to it, more than that. There's definitely way more to user experience design, the UI and the web design capabilities that other designers might have. I mean, actually, it's the total opposite of what it's the total opposite of actually what you might think design practice, because UX design is all about solving problems for the user, not about designing experiences, but molding the experience have to better enjoyable, so or keep on doing it, on using the product, or actually find it enjoyable for achieve a task that they're trying to achieve. So if you think that is just dribble shots, a Behance portfolio, and having all pretty pictures, then I would strongly suggest and advise that you do a little bit more research around what UX design really, the different practices, methodologies, things that you can. There's quite a lot of things specialize in, so prototyping, that is what a lot of people do from a UI background, prototyping, the wireframe, all those things that relate to some of the design practices. But then, for you to be a real UX designer, there is a layer of aspect of really understanding, solve problems, how to approach it, that valuable to your customers, not just with a user interface, but to actually build something these people experience problems, what user all about design new experience. about making the experience full, or other animals and things have better. So if you think that is just web design, why design work, please do your, just don't jump into it thinking that it's simple and you can throw that UX design title there and pass through. Because is quite a distinctive difference purely the interface work and user experience. Owners, user research, all of that requires you depth and user experience. Serve the people that can bring damage you growing profile. Okay, cool, but you actually don't know what you're doing in the world of. So that is point number 3 from me. And moving on swiftly to point number 4, which is just getting a job. Right now, you might be coming from different fields and like, okay, maybe you taught online course or read a book or whatever it is, and you feel that, okay, cool, I think this is something that I can do to get a job, and there's an influx of your jobs on so many space that a lot of people would be go into that of it. Are a lot of career change moment of all that, and but if you're just doing get a job in the space or not any of the other people who are doing right, you just get a job, you need, and what you need, how you get. If you want to get a job in, I would strongly start by looking what actually tells practices, methodologies, other things that align as close as to current role as possible, shortest curve, and present those have. So for example, somebody who already in and speak a lot, something like doing user interview much easier for you, so you can try out that with your friends or whatever it is. I wouldn't advise anyone to jump in things or something not. So do your homework, do a short course or a little bit, listen to our podcast, check out some of our blog posts that we have online. If you look up things like Big Africa, obviously watching this from Africa, but if you look, just look it up, how to be a UX designer, things you need, everything, getting started as a UX designer, there's so much information and ton of articles and things that you can actually follow to the T to be able to have a kick start in your. Now, we will be providing some more in-depth courses and training on betterux.com around, kickstarting your UX career, and jumpstarting it, and providing you some other resources, via our blog and via our newsletter. So make sure to check that out if it's something that might be interested in actually learning how to get into UX design. We create content like that almost all of the time via our podcast and our blog posts, and even here on the live streaming sessions we do talk about getting into UX, other interesting things as well that you might want to know, just like this live streaming session right now when we're talking about why you should not get into UX design, that I have at the moment, that I would like to, why you should not jump in UX design, your current reason. So moving on swiftly, and this is my fifth point of the show today. We are getting close to our 30-minute mark right now. I wanted to try and make this 30 minutes and not so much of an hour-long form. We're not like doing a demonstration and sort of like speaking through some of concepts and some things, and maybe when we're doing something of a demo and showing you something on screen, going through articles, or we're doing portfolio review, that maybe we can out to an hour. But these short form ones with just me talking to you certain points, I would like to make them a little bit shorter, around the 30-minute, slightly over. So moving on swiftly, the fifth point that I have on why you shouldn't get into UX design is some of the reasons that you have. So the first one that we had is you're just doing money. Second one, relevant, coming whatever other role, and you think drawing the title you know on your portfolio profile will do the trick, so don't do it. Third one is if that's just for normal UX UI design or web design, totally other practices that you jump into. And the fourth one that I gave, that if you're just looking for a job, do it properly. Don't just jump into it. Do your consideration properly. See if this is something that you actually want to be doing, because it will be a career change and actually quite a little bit of a learning curve that you succeed. Which brings us to our fifth one, that it's an extreme space. Now, so many people coming UI design from other sort of like spaces with the analytic spaces, it is not an easy thing to just get into and actually be successful. A lot of people think that, okay, I could course something like that and be able to get a quick start up to getting into it. But they is quite a competitive space now, because everybody is like flocking space because of all the opportunities that are out there. So it is super important that you look into it in that space, that there will be a lot of learning to happen, learning that you're going to have to go through, and if you don't have the passion to actually make it and keep on driving and having that, then you won't be able to fight through some of the best design work that is happening out there. There is a lot of competition within the space, and there are people who are specializing in getting better and better, that when you're getting into it right now, to find ways yourself ahead of the curve, and those means and ways might not be easy for you to find. So think about it before you jump into it, whether you want to do it for the money, and or whether you think it's the currency you have into it, or you really need a job and UX design like is this find an option. If you're not passionate about it, if you're not passionate about anything in life, I don't think advise anyone about that, or what that doesn't have something that drives them. Because what happens is that you start seeing all the competition out there, and you're gonna get into a very junior design role. You're not gonna get that you expected that you're gonna get paid as a top UX designer. Think that the whole UX design thing is a fraud, and people are talking about all these cool opportunities, all these cool salaries and whatever it is. But you are actually not relevant for you to be able to make that much salary. When employers are looking at your portfolio, you'll probably just end up getting hired by all the wrong people that are also looking for UX UI design. They actually don't really know what they are looking for, or are not sure of how to source this talent and how to create past it, and then you're going to end up being frustrated, number one, or you're going to end up not providing the right value to your clients, end up frustrating them, ending, we all know where that ends, right? You're going to be fired from your job or from your gig or from whatever because you actually can't. So before you get into UX design, telling you for you to get into it, find your passion, find your drive, find the right fit. It's a very wide umbrella term, user experience design, where you find people as it the user research aspect, the strategy aspect of things and all of that stuff, right? So between all of those things, I'm sure you can find something that is more relevant and closer to what you currently do right now, that can help you succeed as a person getting into year 2020. So if any of the top 5 reasons that I've gave you today, if you're doing it for the money, you're doing it just to be relevant, and if you think it's just web design and UI design, where those skills and do it overnight. If you just need a job and you think this UX space is a buzzword right now, and a lot of people hiring people in the UX space, and if you don't have the passion for people and actually solving problems, then I wouldn't say that you're ready to transition into UX design. I would take a little bit and really consider why I want to do this. What are the things that I have to learn and before I can actually start putting that label on my whatever it is, and that I am a designer. There are a couple of things that you need, or there are a couple of basic things that you need to learn, but you have the team for you to break through the competition and become a valuable asset to whoever you're serving, because when people hire you UX design, they're actually looking for real problem solvers. They're looking for people that can help them with the problems that their customers are having. So you are at the end of the day working probably on a digital product, website, on an app or whatever it is, but you are actually approaching it from a whole different perspective, which is from a user's perspective, from empathy perspective, from a real understanding perspective. So having said that, I think those are the main 5 topics that I want to cover today on our design streaming sessions here at Do Better UX. And if you enjoyed this what I would like to consider compelling reasons of why you shouldn't be a UX designer right now, please do consider subscribing to helping us with the algorithm and how everything works in the background. And if this is something that you feel like you are interested in conversation, we do this live streaming sessions. We are back in this week. We haven't done them for the past 2 weeks, really because we have been trying to do a couple of upgrades and other things within our systems and setting up a couple of things. But we are back now at 8 p.m. Central African time every day of the week. We will be here talking about different things. Tomorrow we are going to be giving you the UX design coverage of the Apple event that happened today, or rather the Apple Watch event. Well, it was highlighted as the Apple Watch event. A lot of people thought it was going to be all Apple Watch, but just before I started the live streaming session, I realized that there was also an iPad talk, and I wonder how far they went. There's also a huge drive around Apple Silicon, and tomorrow's session we'll be taking a look at how all that new development coming out of Apple right now for UX design, and sort of like give a UX design coverage of the Apple event. You're gonna get a lot from your TechCrunch and other places, a lot of tech perspectives, but we'll be doing it from a do better UX perspective. I'm your host, Verma Henry, and until tomorrow, check out our website. I'm out.